A psychologist can read your entire personality before you even open your mouth. No, seriously, before you shake their hand, before you do anything, they've already clocked about 7 things about you. And here's what's wild. It's not some magic trick. It's not cold reading or intuition or whatever. It's just science. Pattern recognition backed by decades of research. The scary part? Most of what they pick up on is stuff you didn't even know you were broadcasting. And honestly, once you hear what these things actually are, you're going to start seeing yourself completely differently. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing, and this one genuinely surprises people, is the way you walk into a room. Not whether you look confident, not whether you're smiling, it's something way more specific than that. It's whether you walk in like you belong there or like you're silently asking for permission to exist in the space. Think about that for a second. Do you pause at the door, even just for a half second? Do you immediately scan for the corner, the chair closest to the wall, the seat with the least amount of exposure? Or do you just walk in like the room was already yours? Research built on nonverbal communication studies, including work that traces back to Albert Mehrabian, shows that the way we move into unfamiliar spaces reflects something really deep, our internal sense of belonging. And I know what you're thinking. Okay, so if I hover at the door, I'm insecure? No, that's not what this is. The person who hesitates, psychology actually links that to higher empathy. They're more sensitive to the social environment around them. They're reading the room, not hiding from it. That's not a flaw. That's a finely tuned nervous system. The person who scans before they sit, usually highly observant, rich inner world, the kind of person who notices things other people walk right past. A psychologist doesn't look at that and think shy. They think this person feels everything at full volume. And yeah, that can be exhausting sometimes, but it's also kind of remarkable. The second thing they notice is how you handle those tiny little moments of uncertainty. Not the big stuff, the small stuff. Like, where do you sit when no one tells you where to sit? What do you do with your hands when you're not sure what to do? Do you speak first or do you wait? Sounds almost too small to matter, right? But attachment research, a lot of it going back to John Bowlby, tells us something fascinating. The way we respond to low stakes ambiguity as adults is basically a direct echo of how safe or unsafe uncertainty felt when we were kids. If uncertainty used to mean something bad was coming, your body learned to brace for it every time, even when it's just a waiting room, even when nothing's wrong. Honestly, I used to think my restlessness in new situations was just a quirk, like a weird personality tic. But it wasn't that at all. It was an old, loyal part of me that learned, a long time ago, that being caught off guard was dangerous, so it stayed ready, all the time, just in case. Once I actually understood that, I stopped being embarrassed by it. And weirdly, slowly, it started to calm down on its own, because it finally felt heard, I think. Third thing, and this one's my personal favorite, the way you listen. Not whether you're quiet while someone's talking, but what your face and body are doing while they talk. Do your eyes go soft when a conversation gets emotional, or do they go just slightly blank? Do you lean in, or do you hold very still? Psychology shows that listening styles are one of the clearest windows into emotional regulation, how well we manage our own feelings in real time. Here's the counterintuitive part, though. The person who goes quiet and a little distant when a conversation gets heavy, they're often the most emotionally intelligent person in the room. I was genuinely shocked when I learned this, because we assume stillness means coldness, right? We assume distance means disconnection. But what's actually happening is they're creating space inside themselves before they respond. They're not shutting down, they're processing. That's not detachment, that's discipline. And most of them were never told that. They just got called hard to read. Okay, number 4, and this one might sting a little, in a good way. It's how you handle being seen. Someone compliments you. What do you do? Do you deflect it immediately? Laugh it off? Flip it back onto them as fast as humanly possible? Or, and this is the really specific one, do you answer, "How are you doing?" before they've even finished asking, just to move the spotlight away from yourself? I do that. I've definitely done that. Research on self-esteem and self-presentation, including a lot of foundational work by Nathaniel Branden, shows that how comfortable we are with being noticed is one of the most honest signals of how we genuinely feel about our own worth. The person who deflects every compliment isn't being modest. Most of the time, they literally don't know how to receive warmth because somewhere along the way, warmth came with strings attached, so they learned to dodge it before it could cost them something. If that landed, I want you to sit with it for a second. You didn't make yourself small for no reason. You did it because it worked. It kept you safe. The question now is just, does it still need to? Number 5, and this one's subtle. It's how you talk about people who aren't in the room. And no, this isn't about gossip. It's about something psychologists call projection. Basically, we unconsciously assign our own fears, our own desires, our own unresolved stuff onto the people we talk about. Research in projective psychology is pretty consistent on this. The traits we criticize fastest in other people, usually the ones we're most afraid to find in ourselves. And the qualities we admire most in others, often the ones we're quietly working to allow in ourselves. So when someone says, "Oh, she's just so needy," a psychologist's first quiet thought might be, what does this person believe about their own needs? And when someone says, "He's incredible, he's just so fearless," they might wonder, where does this person hold themselves back out of fear? Crazy, right? There's no judgment in any of this. This is one of the most universally human things that exists. We see ourselves in other people constantly. We just don't realize we're doing it. But once you start noticing it, every conversation becomes a mirror, and honestly, a pretty honest one. 6. This one's underrated. Your relationship with silence. Not comfortable silence, not awkward silence, just silence in general. Does it feel okay, or does it feel like a hole that needs to be filled immediately? Psychology links the urge to fill every silence to anxiety about how we're being perceived. It's the fear that silence means something went wrong, that the other person is judging, pulling away, getting bored. And on the flip side, people who can actually sit in silence without panic, they tend to score higher on emotional security, higher relationship satisfaction. They've found a way to be okay in the space between words. If you're someone who rushes to fill every quiet moment, I get it. It's not because you talk too much, it's because you care about connection, deeply. More than a lot of people do. That's the root of it. And that's not something to fix, it's something to understand. And 7, the last one, the way your eyes move when you're thinking. Not in a weird pseudoscience way, in a very real, very observable way. Curiosity and fear look completely different when someone's processing a question. Psychologists and cognitive researchers have noted for years that genuinely curious, engaged people have this kind of restless aliveness in their gaze. Their eyes move the way their mind does, tracking, exploring, connecting dots. But someone who's learned that showing their reactions isn't safe, they go flat, still, controlled. Both of these people are intelligent. Both of them are feeling things deeply. The only difference is one was taught it's okay to show it, and one wasn't. So here's where I want to land with you. Every single one of these 7 things, the way you enter a room, the way you sit with uncertainty, the way you listen, the way you dodge being seen, the way you talk about people who aren't in the room, the way you handle silence, and the way your eyes move when your mind is alive, every single one of these is a page from a story, your story, written by the rooms you grew up in, the people who shaped you, the moments that taught you whether the world was safe or whether you needed to be careful. A psychologist doesn't look at any of this and see problems. They see depth. They see someone who's been navigating something real and complicated and doing the best they possibly could with what they had. You're not a puzzle to be figured out, but you are a story worth knowing. And the quiet work of actually learning to see yourself clearly, not to fix yourself, not to perform some better version of yourself, just to understand yourself, that's genuinely some of the most important work a person can do. If any part of this hits somewhere true, like you've known it quietly for a while but never quite had the words for it, stick around, subscribe. because we're just getting started on understanding the person you've been your whole life.